Hey everyone, welcome back to another Chart With Me video, and in this video we're going to go over my game plan for the upcoming week on gold. As you can see, there were some really crazy moves that happened inside of the market, so I'm going to give you my full analysis on this market, including my entry, my exit, and my profit target zones on this particular market for next week, and then any other thing that may be helpful in helping you better analyze the gold market. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. On the weekly time frame, you can see that from this past week, we do have this really strong bearish candle. We had this weak candle from the prior week, and price just sold off. So this is kind of no surprise. And one of the biggest catalysts from this past week was actually the US election that made it bearish, really bearish. And then FOMC, which was 2 days later, that made this wick right here on the gold market. So let's go ahead and analyze this and see what we can figure out for next week. Since we have some interesting price action, the first thing I'm going to do is mark off a level right here at the top of this wick, mainly because this is the highest level that price has reached so far inside of this particular market, and that is around 2790, almost hitting 2800, but that's the highest point, so we want to mark that off. The other area I want to mark off is, let me find a line of best fit around 2625. We're going to draw another level down here at 2484. Now for weeks I've been saying that a lot of volume has to push in order for price to come down here, and this past week we did see a lot of volume, this moving about 900 pips, so anything is possible. So I definitely want to mark this off and just make sure that we have that level at the front of our mind, so that way when we're looking at the market we could see where price could fall to. So that's another level. Now on the daily, we're getting a better sense of what price is actually looking like and trying to do. At this point, this kind of looks like a pullback, but who knows? So one of the things I want to do is I want to keep this up here at the height of 2790, but this level that we drew right here at 2624, I actually want to move this level down. Now that I'm on the daily time frame and I can see a lot more information, it's much more clear to me that this price line needs to be a bit lower. So we're going to keep it right there. And then we also have a level right here. This is actually still looking really good. However, I do notice a couple of wicks here and then a wick right here. So I'm just going to move this down just a little bit, just to kind of see how this looks. Basically just taking the average of these three wicks. So right now we're sitting at 2470 roughly. I love the fact that it's a nice round psychological level, so we're going to keep that like that. So let's go down to the H4 time frame. On the H4 time frame, we can see that we have a lot more data now, and now we have this range from here at the all-time high all the way down here. This is much too large of a level to try to take a trade from, so let's go ahead and create more levels so that way we can have nice tradable zones. The first level that I see that's really obvious to me, and you can see that I already have an alert here because I'm waiting for some price action in that area, is around 2712. Now, although that's not a nice round psychological level, it's just nice when those things match up. In this case, it's not, but I definitely want to mark it mainly because I do see this rejection here, and then I do see some sort of consolidation right here. Actually, let me move this down. Okay, I like this better. So this is around 2706, and mainly because of this support right here, most recent support, and then you can see that price did tap into the zone and then start to reject again. So that's the reason why I pushed it from here. That looked good to me at first, but then looking to the right and seeing this most recent price action with the support and the resistance, I want to put that line there. So now another level that I want to create, 2750. I do like this level mainly because we have some rejection over here and rejection over here. We do have some kind of consolidation here, but I want to prioritize this area. So we're going to keep that right there. And then I feel like I want to draw another level, possibly right here at 2729, almost 2730, mainly because I do remember when price was on the upside, 2730 was a target area for me. It kept popping up in the trades that I was looking at. So it doesn't surprise me that now, looking at this week's and actually almost a month later, that this is another area of interest. So that is looking good. So far we are looking good on the H4 time frame. Now that we scoot in a bit and we can see more price data, I do want to create another line, and I want to start here and then just drag this over. I drew this line at 26.55 mainly because if we look at most recent price action, we can see that price came to this level and it bounced off a few times before pushing up into this previous support zone. So I like that level placement. And then if we look over to the left, we can see that there's a lot of consolidation in this area. This was actually really nice right here where this level was a support for these candles here, but then after that it was just pretty much consolidation and really hard to understand what was happening. So this right here is looking really clean as far as price action, and I want to keep that level, this zone right here. And I do want to break this up so that way I have some tradable areas just in case price for whatever reason decides to come all the way down here. So there are a couple levels that I'm seeing. So the first level that I'm seeing is actually right here. I'm gonna line this up. It's right here at 25.55, and it's mainly because of the support right here. And then if we go over to the left, we do have enough room for price to possibly come down here. So that looks good to me. And then I'm going to do another line right here. Ooh, I like this, at 25.30. And mainly because we have all of these resistances and rejections in the zone over here. And I just wanted to mark that off on my chart as well. So now that I'm looking down here, let me make this a little bit bigger. Now that we're looking down here, I do see some wicks that have tapped into this 24.70 zone, but I do want to push this up a little bit. So now we're sitting at 24.40 or 24.73. And essentially price hasn't moved all that much, mainly because I wanted to tap into this area with these resistances. And then if I pull this all the way over, actually let me pull it down, then you can see that there's some consolidation here, but we do have a rejection here, and we had two rejections here, and then multiple rejections here. So on the opposite side, we also see rejection, rejection, rejection. So that's still looking good to me. On the H2 time frame, those levels that we drew on the H4, we can see them a bit more clearly now. I'm not really seeing a whole lot that I want to adjust except for this level right here. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but now we're sitting at 27 roughly. So that looks good. I wanted to line up with this support right here. And then going to this level right here, we can see that we're sitting at that support. We do have some weird price action over here, but I want to prioritize most recent price action. So this is going to basically stay right here, especially the fact that where we move this level, it's sitting nicely. The line is sitting nicely on top of the resistances. And then if we go over here, we can also see these rejection wicks right there. Still looking good. And over here, this is kind of a weird situation. Let me zoom in. Weird situation because we have these two candles that broke the level, and then we also have this sitting right on support. So I could actually move this down to right here to 25, move that right there. So 25.48, which is actually still really good of a level. I just wanted to make sure that the bottommost part of this zone is sitting on top of this line. Now it is. And then this is still looking fine. We have these levels right here with all these rejections, but let me see if I move this up just a little bit so that way this resistance is sitting on top, or the line is sitting on top of these resistance candles. So now we're sitting at 25, roughly 30. So it didn't really move all that much. And then right here, now that we have more candles that are visible, I do want to move this up to 24.75. That's actually really perfect. I like that number. We're looking good. Going down to the H1. Basically just looking to see if things line up, make sure that there's nothing weird happening here. So looking at this zone here, what I'm seeing right here is actually a resistance level, and I do see this candle is tapping into that level, but pushing this up to 2708, which basically it didn't really move it all that much, but I wanted to make sure that this line was sitting on top of this resistance right here. So that is now looking good to me. And if we look at this level that we drew a few time frames ago, I actually want to move this down. So that way we're now sitting at 2648. And that mainly gives me a really nice support level right there. And then if we scoot all the way over, we can see that we do have some nice tap ins to this zone. So here are the zones for this upcoming week. Of course, there are some other zones down here that are looking good, and we basically don't have to touch pretty much anything if we don't want to. So this level is still looking good to me. I could adjust it, but I like the way that it looks right there at 2475. Now we can talk about the game plan for this upcoming week. And this upcoming week, in terms of fundamentals, there's quite a bit of news that is coming out. We have core CPI, CPI, PPI. We also have retail sales that are coming up, and then unemployment claims that comes out every single week. So all of that is definitely going to potentially play a factor inside of the gold market, and we have to know how to position ourselves in order to make sure we take advantage of opportunities that present themselves inside of the market. So if we take a look at most recent price action, the biggest thing that is standing out to me right now is this level of 2682. And I'm going to draw a support level there. And then the other thing that is standing out to me as well, we did adjust this on the last, or right before we went into this analysis. So this is actually looking good. I also see another resistance level here. So let me just talk about how I see this market. Price at this moment is generally in a downtrend. And since I'm a trend follower, this week I may be looking for more sells than buys for sure. So this whole drop right here is about 900 pips. And that's a really large move inside of the market. In this situation, the biggest catalyst was the US elections and the outcome of that. And we don't really know what price could potentially do for this upcoming week. We just have to prepare, which is what we're doing right now. So for the most part, I'm looking for continued sales. However, if price was to break up above 2707, then I could be interested in buys up to here and then buys up to here as well. So let's just go ahead and draw this off on the charts to give you a good visual of what may happen. So of course, this could change based on all of the news catalysts that we have, or data releases that we have inside of the gold market. And then of course, I will continue, if price continues to push up, I will be looking for additional buys above here. So in terms of sells, I'm looking at sells basically below this level, because this will be a continuation of the trend. We're already in a downtrend right now, and if price continued to trade below this 2682 level, then that could signify more selling down to this 2648 level. So let's go ahead and mark that off. And of course, following the continuation, I would just be looking for just straight sells until there was some price action that gave me a sense of something different. I would just be looking for sells pretty much all the way down here. This right here, this signifies almost a $120 move, which is equivalent to 1,200 pips inside of the market. Now, this would be crazy if price was to come all the way down here, and then we have this other little piece right here, so that would be even more of a move. That would be closer to 1,500 pips. That's why I like planning from both sides, just to make sure that I have a solid game plan in mind. And as far as the technicals, this price action is really clean. So I'd be interested to see how price will play out for the upcoming week. And if you found this really helpful, go ahead and give this video a like, and then also subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, as a majority of the people who watch the videos on this channel are not subscribed. So that means that you are missing out on opportunities to improve your trading skills inside of whichever market you decide to trade. Go ahead and do all of that, and I will see you next time.